But like we had in the last conversation, what are the things that are illegally being downloaded? They tend to be the larger commercial products.
Exactly. And those are easier to get online. Like we were talking about, the independent films don't have as much distribution. Period. They just don't have as many outlets.
There's actually I work. I'm an intern at a recording studio, a local recording studio, and one of the bands that came through was talking about one of the other guys or one of the other bands that he knows from touring or whatever released their album, like leaked their album after they finished recording it, before it even went to the stores or whatever, to get word of mouth out, because they're not, you know, a multi-platinum selling artist. They were just like, well, whatever, we're going to release it now. People are going to hear it. If they really like it, they're probably going to buy it. And that's what I was saying earlier about keeping Hollywood honest, is that if you have access to something that you normally would have to pay for, and you listen to it, and you go, I don't really like this, you're not going to buy it. But if there's really a market out there for something that people really, really, really want to buy, it's going to survive no matter what, you know.
Right.
Right. Well, and the thing is, when you go to the theater and you see something in the theater, you just get to see the feature film. If you leak that beforehand and people see the feature film that's really cool, then yeah, they probably will go and buy the DVD with all the extras and the packages of the behind the scenes.
Well, that's one of the arguments, is that by the more you see, the more you buy. It actually accelerates.
Yeah.
So what will drive you to a movie theater?
I kind of evaluate a film as to the experience I think I'm going to get in the theater. Is it something either, if it's an escapist big blockbuster thing, are those special effects going to be so amazing that I can't get the same experience at home with...
Can you hear the sirens?
Yeah.
I knew we shouldn't have had this conversation. Okay.
And if it's something that seems like the cinematography is a really integral part of the film, something that's going to be so beautiful, I want to see it on the big screen, or there are going to be a lot of details that you're just not going to get on a little screen at home, then I want to see it, you know, with the full experience.
That's a great reason to go to the theater.
But if it's something that's just, you know, that's kind of interesting, or maybe it's just about the
what about the communal aspect of it, though? Do you ever go because you're sitting with other people?
Honestly, that kind of turns me off. Like,
you don't like to be with other people?
Well, I do. Some movies. It depends on what movie it is, because a lot of times, like sometimes some movies I've been to, and I'm really into the movie, and then somebody over there is like rustling paper or whatever, and I can turn around and be like, hey, can you be quiet? But that's taking me away from, you know, watching the movie, and I don't want to miss anything and everything. And like there might be somebody way down in the front that's making noise. I'm not going to start yelling across the theater at him, but just the fact that there's people there that may or may not, you know, interrupt your movie experience. You know,
what about going to?
I think it works better with comedies. Honestly, I remember seeing Tropic Thunder twice in the theater. Once with a full house, and once with maybe a half dozen people in there, and it was such a different experience, and that really was amazing. I think, though, mostly the audience experience is great for movies that are second run or later. Like the Coolidge hosts Midnights at the Coolidge, and they do the Feast of Flesh with John Kostuki or Jay Cannibal hosting, and he brings in these old B-70s horror movies that are so cheesy, you know, so bad
and
they're
that's a good communal
and
experience.
that's great. People howling and yelling, like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, that kind of thing, where people are just, you know, shouting at the screen and having a good time.
What about films that you might not have heard of that, you know, like a great documentary or a low-budget good independent film? You know the acting's going to be good. You know it's a great film. You've heard it's a great film. Would that drive you to a theater?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just curious. We'll find out.
Yeah. I mean, it's usually not just one thing, not just, oh, this director or this actor. It's got to be a whole slew of
I'll
things.
see anything with Christopher Walken in it.
Will you see foreign films?
Oh,
yeah. I kind of wish that we had more of a market for them here, and it's funny that
and we're talking about Boston.
Yeah, well, it's still not even on the map compared to L.A. or New York, and we're so far behind as the U.S. Just in comparison to Asia or Europe. You know.
I mean, because we do get a lot of international films in the U.S. or whatever, but I just wish there were more films that were done, because like, I don't know, France has an industry, and they do films in French, but we never see them over here unless they're huge in France, you know? If we had, like, more just, I guess not run-of-the-mill, but, like, more stuff from, you know, Spain or France or whatever that they...
And that's a whole other
Japan,
kettle of... a whole other kettle of fish. Kettle of worms? Box of fish? whatever that is. It's another discussion to be had. But thanks for sharing all this with us. And we'll see you at your local independent movie theater like the Coolidge Corner. Thanks.